On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been?
I'm really inspired by A Blank Space. I guess I see, infinite possibilities. We're standing here on the set of Dear Evan Hansen. People would just look at this and think it's a black void, but when the lighting and the projections and the whole world comes to life, it really does turn on and become such a magical environment for the show. While I was watching the very first reading of the show, did a couple of thumbnail sketches, and I did little scribbles as I was watching, and then I would do another scribble, and then I would turn the page and do another scribble. And this, when I opened it all up and I had my very first meeting with the director, he looked at all these different concepts and he pointed his finger to that one and said, "Tell me about that one." And I said, "Well, I think it's like a disc with a little tiny bed and 9 or 10 floating screens overhead, like this kind of kaleidoscope or this mobile over Evan's head." This was that same bed on the disc. This really begins to start to tell a much more complete visual story. The internet and the environment, the social media environment of the world is really another character. We knew that we had to show and recreate what it was like to experience the internet in one 3.5-minute song.
Patiently waiting, I'm passionately smashing every expectation, every action's an act of creation. I'm laughing in the face of casualties of sorrow. For the first time I'm thinking past tomorrow.
People look at the set for Hamilton and think, oh, it's a bunch of wood and a bunch of brick. But what they don't realize is we knew that our cast in Hamilton was going to be predominantly not white. We went through 33 different variations of color, a little bit too beige, a little bit too orange, a little bit too terracotta, a little bit too red, and figured out exactly what color all of that should be so that people looked really great in front of it and we could carve out the people and the figures in front of the environment. The idea for the turntables in Hamilton actually was a really, really early, in my interview for the job, it was an early impulse that I had to, and I pitched it in my interview to the director, and I said, I'm not quite sure why, but I feel like there's the cyclical nature of the spinning, or perhaps it was the cyclical nature of the relationship between Aaron Burr and Hamilton. The director actually said, that's a really interesting idea. No, let's put a pin in that. And we never even revisited it for 8 months until about 2 weeks before we went into rehearsal at the Public Theater downtown. I brought it back up to him, and he said, if you can show me 10 moments where we could use the turntables, I'll think about it. And so I frantically drew out all these different ways in which I thought we could do it, and he said, okay. I really use social media to kind of give a voice to the voiceless and a look behind the curtain in my process. Almost no one really thinks about the kind of moment-to-moment, multi-step process that it takes to go from a blank stage to a full environment, and I try and give people a view at that. And it's just an incredible process to go from nothing to fully created environments, and it's a great way to spend a life.